In 2026, I finally got my hands on an Analogue Pocket, and after hearing people rave about this thing for years, I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. Of course, my first thought was not about screen quality or FPGA technology. I seriously wanted to play this thing, but I originally had plans to play with your mom. Hey Poe, it's Mike.
Hello. Oh, hey Mike, how's it going?
Yeah, I was wondering if your mom can play Mario Kart with me.
No, my mom can't play Mario Kart with you. She needs to spend time with the rest of the family. She's almost 80, for God's sake. Her birthday's in a few weeks. What's the matter with you, Mario Kart?
Wow, that was rude. I guess I'll call Corey's mom. She always says yes. Aloha everyone, my name's Mike and this is Pepper the Cat. Today we have my Analogue Pocket. I would have preferred the green one, but I missed that boat a long time ago, so I got the black one, and honestly, I love this color because it matches my cat. If Pepper ever became a handheld, this is probably what she would look like. Now, I already own the ModRetro Chromatic, and I've been playing that thing almost religiously when I come home from work. I do not always play for hours though. Sometimes I just want a short relaxing session before spending time with the family, or watching a movie, working on a YouTube video, or playing a console game. This is not a chick game. Dudes can play this game too. Originally, I was not big into handheld gaming. The last handheld I owned years ago was my Game Boy SP Advance, the Game Boy Advance SP, which I bought before my last deployment with the US Navy Seabees during Operation Iraqi Freedom. We were working with Fleet Hospital 8, and I wanted something portable to play when I had downtime, of course. The problem was that the SP was not very comfortable for me. I had the earlier model, which had the screen that wasn't as bright or clear as what we have now with the Analogue Pocket or the Chromatic. I still need light to play, and even then, it was not always easy to see. Back then, I had Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance with just Belmont. Am I pronouncing that right? I really liked that game, but I got stuck and did not have internet access to look anything up. I also had a baseball game because the Navy Exchange did not exactly have a giant wall of Game Boy Advance choices. Years later, the Nintendo 3DS and then the 3DS XL pulled me back into handheld gaming. Fire Emblem Awakening was the game that really got me hooked again. That game was so addictive that I had to beat it. Part of the reason I went down this rabbit hole of collecting older Game Boy games is because I always wanted a Game Boy when I was a kid. I borrowed Kevin's original Game Boy with Tetris and Super Mario Land, and that little gray brick beat the hell out of the Tiger handhelds I had. Later on, I got a Sega Game Gear from my friend Jeff, and I loved playing Sonic the Hedgehog on it. The other games, well, not so much. Eventually I sold it and got a Sega Nomad, which I loved because I always got to play Sega Genesis games on the go. But that was also the problem. I liked the idea of console games on a small screen more than actually playing them on a small screen. The moment text got involved, my eyes were like, nope, we are not doing this today. At first, I was not planning on buying an Analogue Pocket because I already had the Chromatic. To me, the Chromatic is pure nostalgia. It reminds me of playing on the old Game Boy. Only now, I just don't need a lamp or a flashlight and the blessing of every ancient gaming spirit just to see the screen. The Chromatic is also more comfortable for me, and for original Game Boy games, I still really love that experience. It feels like the handheld I wanted as a kid, but cleaned up for today. The Analogue Pocket got my attention for one big reason. Game Boy Advance games. Back in the Navy, I only had that early Game Boy Advance SP and a couple games from the Navy Exchange. I never really got to experience the Game Boy Advance library the way I wanted to. So when I started watching videos on YouTube showing how many great Game Boy Advance games were out there, I kept seeing titles that made me think, wait, I missed all of this? That's when I started picking up games like River City Ransom EX, Wario Land 4, and Metroid Fusion. I wanted to finally catch up with a system I barely got to enjoy the time around. The bigger screen was another huge reason. I needed reading glasses when I played a Chromatic. I still prefer using them with the Analogue Pocket 2, but the larger screen gives me more room to breathe. If I forget my glasses, I can still get by this. I may look like I'm trying to read ancient treasure map instructions, but I can still play it. The sound also surprised me. The speakers on the Analogue Pocket, there's like here and there, they sound really good. And the stereo audio makes the Game Boy Advance games feel bigger than I expected. The Chromatic may be louder with its mono speaker, but to my ears, the Analogue Pocket has the better sound quality. So once I actually started playing the Analogue Pocket, it was kind of an eye-opening experience. Game Boy and Game Boy Color games look fantastic. The screen is sharp, the colors look great, and everything felt responsive to me. I popped in Star Trek and the game felt really responsive on this handheld. The picture looked gorgeous and the audio sounded fantastic. No lag that I could notice, just me, Star Trek, and the realization that maybe my eyes have been begging for a bigger handheld screen for years. The second game I tried was Dragon Yim, which my niece Irma gifted me for Christmas. ModRetro games work on the Analogue Pocket with no problems from what I tested, and that was nice to see. Then I tried Metroid Fusion, and that is where the Pocket really got me. I had to force myself to stop playing because the game was so fun. I loved Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo, and I even beat that game on my channel. Now I need to finish Metroid 2 on the Game Boy so I can follow the story into Super Metroid and into Fusion. I love when these older games connect like that. It makes the whole series feel like one big retro adventure. Game Boy Advance games on this thing are the main reason I am glad I bought it. They look good, they sound good, and they finally make me excited to build a Game Boy Advance collection. I'm just getting started, but I can already tell this is going to be dangerous for my wallet. So where does that leave the Chromatic? Honestly, I still love it. I see the Chromatic as my home handheld. It is the one I relax with after work when I want that nostalgic Game Boy feeling. The Analogue Pocket is becoming the handheld I bring with me. If I have a doctor or dental appointment, I can toss this in my hoodie and play while I am waiting. I have a screen protector right here that I need to put on. But yeah, I'm less nervous about bringing it out of the house compared to my Chromatic. I also like that the Analogue Pocket charges with the USB-C instead of using batteries. Yeah, I got the cable right here. So this thing, you just have to plug it in to charge compared to the ModRetro Chromatic, which uses batteries. But I kind of solved the problem. You can buy the rechargeable pack on their website, but since they always sell out, what I ended up doing is just buying rechargeable batteries for it. It's simple, you can charge it and go. If I had to break it down, the Chromatic gives me the nostalgic Game Boy feeling. The Analogue Pocket gives me the bigger screen, better travel option, the stereo sound, and Game Boy Advance support. They are not fighting each other in my collection. They have different jobs. Alright folks, after spending time with the Analogue Pocket, I get why people love this handheld. I love the bigger, brighter, clearer screen, and I also love the sound quality. I love that you can play Game Boy, Game Boy Color, ModRetro games, and especially Game Boy Advance games on it. Most of all, I love that it finally gives me a reason to explore the GBA library I missed years ago. Now, the only thing I do not love is the comfort. The Analogue Pocket is a bit thinner than I would like, and it kind of reminds me of the Game Boy Advance SP in that way. The Chromatic still feels more comfortable for me for longer gaming sessions. I also still prefer original Game Boy games on the Chromatic for some reason. Maybe it's just nostalgia, maybe it is the feel, maybe my brain just wants one handheld to be the sacred Game Boy machine. But for Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advance and the Analogue Pocket is awesome. So if you ask me which handheld's my favorite, I would probably say both. It is like with my Nintendo 3DS XL and my Nintendo Switch, I consider them my kids and I love them all. The Analogue Pocket is now a great addition to my small handheld family. Now let me ask you, which Game Boy Advance game should I get for my Analogue Pocket? I love Mario, Zelda, action platformers, horror games, and role-playing games. Also, does Sabrina have another game on the Game Boy Advance? Asking for a friend. I want to do a special thanks to Mr. Postel for helping me with the skit, and a special thanks to Mike's Gaming Gala. His Michelle character helped inspire Mickey. Apparently the Mike multiverse is expanding. Before I go, I want to give a special shout out to my Retro Warrior Night members. You're not just watching the channel, you're helping support this madness, and that means a lot to me. Thank you for hanging out with me and Pepper, Retro Warriors and Retro Warrior Knights. Until next time, gaming is your road to adventure.